Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video in my series where I try to build and paint a whole turnip army in about a month. I am really tired. I think I might be catching a cold, but yesterday night I did get all of these bases covered with texture paste. So today they're ready to prime, and that's my goal for today. I've got about an hour and then I need to leave the house. And so I'll try to get these primed in that time using my airbrush. And I really don't like priming with the airbrush. I always have problems with it clogging or it being too thin. Ironically, that's what I bought my airbrush for, is for priming. So yeah, because rattle cans are super expensive and the weather is always different. And so I thought if I had an airbrush, I could prime just at home and it would be easy. And that's not been the case. But you know, do the things that scare you and try to improve through doing that. I'm trying to make that my motto. So even though it scares me, I'm gonna try to prime them all. But first, let me show you some tests I did, because I got some new paints and I did some testing to see how I could replicate the perfect Goblin green, because the original Goblin green paint obviously is not in rotation anymore. You can't buy it. So we gotta imitate it. And then I'll meet you back here in a second. So let's look at all the paints I bought, and here they are, including this algae green by AK, and then this, which is just called Goblin green by Vallejo, and these are my top contenders. For our purple, I've got these three paints, two by Vallejo and one by Citadel, and these should be a nice little triad we can use. And for the yellow, I've heard good things about this AK yellow, and I thought I'd get some Pro Acryl pale yellow to put some highlights on that, make it really easy. And then I picked up this black as well, because I'm sick and tired of my Citadel black. So I got some bases ready with some texture paste, and let's see which green I like best. There's a little tip: you can put little paper clips on the bottoms of your bases if you want to paint the rims and you've got nothing else to hold them. First up is AK Algae Green, and this was a really smooth application. I like this from the start. This is just one coat and it's almost covering. The Vallejo Goblin Green came out of the bottle looking a little bit paler than the algae green. It also has quite smooth application, but the coverage is a bit worse. Alright, I've got two dried coats on both of the bases now, and I think they're both pretty good matches to the Goblin Green vibe, but I prefer this one, which is the AK Algae Green. I think it's got a little bit more vibrancy, a little bit more punch. Yeah, this one's just a little bit slightly lighter. It's got a little bit more of a pastel feel to it, you can see here. And this one's got a little bit more saturation. So what I'm gonna do now is I've also prepared this base, where instead of applying a texture paste, I've applied the classic method of just putting sand on the base with some white glue. I want to try painting this green as well to see if I like the texture of that more. Okay, well, I've put one coat on the sand. I think that's looking pretty good. I don't know if I have a favorite. This one is a little bit less homogeneous, which is actually kind of nice. While this is drying, let's dry brush this one. I've got this electric lime. I think this will be a good stark highlight color for this. Man, this is going to be very different from all the other turnip stuff. Someone else in the comments said I should put my army on muddy bases. And I get why you would say that, because turnip is all about the grime and the grunge and the mud. But hear me out. Most of the models I paint have grimy, dirty, muddy, earth tone bases. And they all have these black rims. And if I'm going to be painting 36 new miniatures, I want the process to be fun. And for me, part of the fun of doing this army is trying out something I've never done before. So even though this is not like the first thing you'd think of with turnip, I think it'll fit very well because it is a child's army. And so there's sort of a meta commentary going on about playing with these old Warhammer toys when you were a kid, right? And seeing these images in White Dwarf and getting nostalgic about that now. So I think this old Hammer retro look is really part of the concept. And as an artist, I strongly believe in not compromising on your creative vision. And yeah, it means that when my army is sitting next to all the other armies at the tournament, it'll look really out of place. But I think that could be a good thing. It makes my army look different from all the other turnip armies, because I'm also thinking about what am I bringing to the table. The one thing I haven't seen before is a really old school, classic Goblin Green based, super colorful, toy-based turnip army. And so that's what I'm gonna do, because I think it'll be fun. Right, so that's how we got to this point, and now I gotta prime them all. So let me get my airbrush booth set up and mix some primer with some thinner, and probably get really annoyed because it's not working. I'm gonna prime them white. Give me a sec, I'll try it.
Meaning 3 or 4 drops of primer to 1 drop of thinner. Third thing we're going to need is isopropyl alcohol.
So as you can see, I've primed this batch here. I did of course have a ton of trouble priming these guys. Priming white through the airbrush is just tough. I did think about maybe spraying the bases. I think I'll spray the bases green. I give up. I can't airbrush without clogging the damn thing. I want to love my airbrush so much, but I just don't love using it. When it works, it's incredible. It feels smooth and it goes so quickly, and I feel like I have so much creative freedom to do amazing effects and smooth blends and all of that, but it just keeps clogging. And no matter what I do, no matter which tutorial I watch, how well I clean it, it just gets gunked up and I need to clean it all of the time. If any of you live in or near Berlin and you are good with an airbrush, I would love to invite you to my place and just watch me airbrush and tell me what I'm doing wrong. Cause I need someone to teach me. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong because it can't be this bad. It cannot be this bad for everyone. It's super frustrating because it's such an expensive tool that I was really excited to get going with it, and I've had some good experiences with it. Wait, check this out. This is my Arachnarok spider. I painted this for D&D a while back. I mean, the lighting's not great right now, so it's hard to see maybe, kind of, but I did some airbrushing here. It's actually not glued to the base, so I can take it off. I airbrushed the base and then did some dry brushing on top of that. This is probably my favorite detail on there. 2 little goblins all spun up in the web. And I did this with the airbrush, and all of the base colors on the spider itself were also airbrushed. There's like subtle gradients. You can kind of see how it gets darker down here. Kind of hard to tell with this lighting setup. But the point is, I had fun airbrushing this. So I know that it can be good. I know that it can. And so it's extra frustrating when I can't get it to work. I did get most of them to an okay point. So I'm gonna finish these with the brush and also these over there. It's 2 a.m. right now. I should go to bed, but I can't leave this unfinished. Wish me luck. Tomorrow I'd really like to get started on the painting. I want to do a test model and test my color scheme, see if I like it, if I like the paints that I bought, and then get started on the actual batch painting. I think I'm gonna paint them in 3 sets of 12, just so I don't go completely mad, and also to allow myself to kind of learn in between batches and maybe apply what I've learned to the next batch. If you've made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed this, and in the next video we will paint our first full homunculus warrior for this turnip army. I can't wait, and I'll see you there.